Yeah, baby. We are back, blowing things up. Rajay here. Rajay, BeerVentures. You know the name. We're doing a new format, so we decided to take things in a different direction. We're going to open it up later for an open hangout, so we'll see who else we can get in here on the crew. But we kind of want to put some stuff out there talking about some of the beer things happening in the world. So don't anybody feel like they were slighted, but we kind of wanted to limit it so people can actually hear some of the stuff we talk about. There have been some comments in the past where sometimes people are over talking other people and it's hard to hear what's going on. And there are some people that like to pick up some beer knowledge. So we're going to drop this session first and we'll come back later and we'll drop another session and throw some more grenades. So up in Buffalo, I got my boy, my co-host, my co-moderator, the man with no channel, Average Joe, who's rocking his Average Joe shirt. What up, Joe?
Oh, below Average Joe up in the house. Also, appreciate the grenades or explosions. And as the great Ice Cube once said, yay, yay. And, we got... I'm drinking some Founders Green Zebra, which is their Goza style ale brewed with watermelon and sea salt, which is curious to me when they say sea salt because usually Gozas have sea salt. It's just part of the Goza style, so kind of weird. It's pretty good though, pretty tasty. The watermelon isn't super fake or anything, so I appreciate that.
Nothing wrong with that at all. And we got to have our UK correspondent in the house. So of course we got Craig here from Kent Beer Reviews because we are global. So what's happening, brother? What's going on over there in the UK?
Wow, it's damn hot at the moment.
By the way, for Craig is 211 right now in the middle of the night. He's dedicated.
I couldn't find any craft beer, so I've gone for a punk IPA from Brewdog.
Oh, so you're saying Brewdog is not craft anymore? Grenades have been thrown.
No,
anyway.
I already 3 grenades. We're 2 minutes in.
Well, shots fired pretty soon. I am actually drinking one from Deschutes, and this is the Swivelhead Red. So this is a red IPA. You guys know how I like my IPAs. They are just the things that make the world go round.
Well, that looks very good, Rod.
And I am just getting back, as you guys know. So I was getting different messages over the last few weeks asking about the show. I was actually out with a toothache, and I don't have to get a root canal. So that's actually a good thing. And everything kind of healed back with antibiotics, and tooth has been checked, and beers have been going down. So I am back up and rolling. So that's a good little thing there. So
you've been activated off the 14-day DL.
Yeah, it's like getting back into the game for sure. But as far as the beers that you're drinking right now, you're drinking a Goza. What's that actually kind of taste like?
Tastes like a Goza. No, it's just I find the most Goza style to be tart as opposed to like an actual full-on sour, and that kind of falls in place here. I do feel the watermelon character in here. So many times you get the fake Jolly Rancher watermelon sweetness. Has a slight hint of that, but it seems more to the realistic side. We talked about before, but when you're trying to put watermelon in a beer, because watermelon is 90% water content, you have to use so much of it to actually get an authentic watermelon flavor that so many people just use the essence or the extract or whatever. It's not overly sweet, which I like. Definitely there's a salinity there. But I enjoy it. It's perfect for this time of year. You know, it's summertime. It's warm, crushable. Good beer. I enjoy it. And Founders usually doesn't do too many things wrong, I find. So, solid. I enjoy it.
They seem to do all right. I'll give them that for sure. And then we have Eric now dropping in from Massachusetts, who's our fourth person for tonight. So tonight's going to be a little more limited on who we have in this first session. And then once we get to the open, we'll have more people in. But Eric, what are you drinking tonight, and what's going on up there in Massachusetts?
All right. Well, the Red Sox are on. I believe it's 4-8 against the Cleveland Indians. Somehow the Cleveland Indians have our number. I don't know why that is, but they do. I'm finishing up a tall boy, and this one's not open yet, but I'm finishing up another tall boy here of Firestone Walker's Leo versus Ursus #2. It's called their Adversus. It's one of their double IPAs in the series right now.
Very nice.
It is 8.2% alcohol by volume. It's pretty good. I think this one is They're trying to kind of consider it an East Coast or a West Coast version of an East Coast kind of an IPA.
East Coast, West Coast, East Side, West Side. All right.
Yay!
Get my Ice Cube on.
Yep. You got to sometimes.
So how's the brew dog, Craig, on how you're taking right there?
It's okay. It's not too bad. It's
You guys aren't big on brew dog over there now.
It's kind of gone. I mean, this beer anyway. It's not all their beers.
Yeah.
It's their flag, but now it's also in supermarkets. It's everywhere. You get lights going around Europe and things like that. So they're really quite commercial. It's a little bit kind of
Trendy.
fruit salady kind of taste to it. You know what I mean? It's got that bit savoury. It's more that than kind of any kind of real kind of zesty, citrusy. That's just to my palate, though. Right? It could be just. I've had it a few times with other supermarket beers as well. It's mass produced. It's possibly brewed at a cheaper kind of level to suit what the supermarkets want at a certain price, potentially. So.
But yeah, if you want a BrewDog beer, then go to one of their bars. It's probably going to be a bit more, a bit more of a quality.
Well, we got the BrewDog Brewery about to open up next year here in Columbus and the resort, so that should be kind of cool. So again, with my fortunate where I'm at, it's only gonna be 2 hours for me, so that should hopefully be nice. And as Joe
No deals. No deals.
It is kind of interesting to think about what that beer spa is going to be like. So they actually going to have a beer spa there, which is interesting. I've seen it in some other countries where people were actually using them, but it's kind of weird. But they take milk baths. Why not take a spa and beer?
Yeah.
Sure.
Be quite carbonated.
Yeah. Lots of bubble action for sure, right?
Yeah.
Suds for days.
Beer news. So, couple of different things happened in the beer world that I happen to see. I don't know if you guys saw some different stuff out there. I mean, since the last time we've done this show, we've had a few different buyouts, of course, that are out there. I'm not going to really get into those. I think there was another one that just happened today, as a matter of fact. But it's all
the Funky Buddha recently.
Yeah, the Funky Buddha, yeah. It's August, and one of the news stories I was reading is talking about how we're seeing pumpkin beers, Amber Harvest Ale, and Oktoberfest beers already hitting all the shelves.
Yep.
And it's actually prompting a social media outrage against it, because a lot of people are complaining about them bringing them out too early, which I happen to agree with.
Do you think they're just starting to do that this year, or do you think that people have complained about that every year? Because every year I notice that the pumpkin beers start to come out around this time in August in the United States and the Oktoberfests.
I think it was the last 2 years that kind of really have started. And like Joe, we always talk about the deals I get down here, but the last 2 years, by the time it's December, January, they're selling pumpkin beer for $8.99 a case, just trying to get rid of it because it comes out so early. And everybody, I think, is trying to beat the other people out there. And Oktoberfest are trying to beat the people out on those beers. But come on, it's August, and you got a Amber Harvest Ale already out in August. You're not even on a hayride.
Yeah, it doesn't take.
You're not even doing anything. Pumpkins in the air. I mean, it's harvest.
You could
ale.
be on a hayride. You're just confused.
If you're harvesting in the middle of August, oh my God, you gotta be hot as shit out there.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I can see both sides of it. The one side is, there's a lot of us. I mean, Rod, you've said it before. Like, I'll drink a stout whenever. It doesn't matter if it's 90 degrees outside or 9 degrees outside. I'll drink a stout. And I'm sure there's people out there that love pumpkin beers and can drink them all year round. And there has to be a reason these companies are putting them out there. It's because some people want them. The easiest way that I see to deal with it is just don't buy them. Just kind of ignore it, just walk by, because everybody likes to make a big deal about everything, right? What is it hurting you if there's a big display of pumpkin beers? What's the outrage? Are you going to shake a fist at it and go yell at someone? It doesn't really make a difference. There's so many great beers out there that you can buy year-round and seasonal and stuff. Go find one of the amazing deals like Rod gets seemingly every day of the week. That's jealousy, by the way.
Why are you trying to blow me up? Why are you trying to blow me up?
But it's one of those things. I've said this before on the show multiple times. It's just another thing for I guess the craft beer drinkers to complain about. There's so much complaining that goes on that sometimes I question whether people actually enjoy it. Sometimes, and this is another thing. Like there's world's highest violin, right?
There's so much choice. It's just disgraceful, you know.
I mean, I've seen pumpkin beers out there in mid-July, like Southern Tier's Pumpkin. They for the last 2 or 3 years they'll be on the shelves in mid-July. Do I want to drink a 9% Imperial Pumpkin Ale in the middle of July? Nah, I'm good. But I'm sure there's someone else that rolls in and goes, "Wow,
drink it." I bet it was coconut. You would.
Anything with coconut, I will drink.
I mean, Oktoberfest is kind of one of those. I mean, Oktoberfest kind of is. Imperial stouts in general kind of have been for a long time. I mean, before the United States became what it was in the beer movement and they started doing these seasonal beers, like I said, you would think of Oktoberfest and a beer like an Russian Imperial Stout as kind of beers that the European countries kind of thought about as, oh, these are good beers for certain times of the year and certain times, you know, in the season. I don't know what they do. If maybe you could elaborate a little bit on that, Craig. I don't know if maybe even in the United Kingdom they even do seasonal beers like you hear about in the United States, or limited beers for a certain season.
Yeah, well, I mean, we get the pumpkin beers, but not on the level you guys get, of course. We get a few imported from the States, but it's not as, I don't think it's quite as, and as big kind of style of beer, or we call it a fruit beer or vegetable beer or whatever you want to call them. That's what Untapped generally use. They never say it's a pumpkin ale. It's always a vegetable, a stroke other, whatever that means.
Fruit vegetable beer, yeah.
Well, it's a good thing mentioning Oktoberfest. Look at the word Oktoberfest. It has the word October in it. And they used to celebrate Oktoberfest and actually start and ended in October. And then and it just kept getting pushed back, prolonged, and it got to the point where now it starts like mid-September because of the better weather and stuff. So it's like you kind of see the same thing from the Oktoberfest and pumpkin beers being released in the States. They used to be, October, November, so you could drink them around Halloween and Thanksgiving, and then you saw them a little bit creeping in September, and then you saw them creeping into August, and now here the last month there were a bunch on the shelf. So, I mean, if there's a market for them, people buy them. I know, like you said, Rod, that there's a lot of places that will end up selling cases for on sub $10, and that's awesome. If you really like those pumpkin beers, you get some great deals. But there's a market for them.
Especially, I like to look for, if it's a pumpkin beer, I don't mean like buy a 10-ounce of an American ounce of like a Rumpkin ale from Avery and spend like $16 on a little tiny bottle of it. But
no chance.
I mean,
it is 18%.
It's got to be something that's out of the ordinary and just a little bit different to make you want to drink that beer. I think a good example is the Shipyard Smash Pumpkin. Rumpkin's one of them. Pumpkin is becoming kind of popular, but that's another one. But you just kind of have to look outside of the box, and I think you'll find a better pumpkin beer than normally what you drink.
I think from my personal experience, too, having consumed probably 100+ pumpkin beers in my life, which isn't a lot, but there's been a lot for it seems.
That is a lot.
That's a lot of pumpkin beer.
It's a lot, and there's a reason why I don't really drink too many pumpkin beers anymore, because for every, I'd say 5 pumpkin beers, usually one of them are good enough for me to drink again. And the vast majority of them are just like, they're all right. And, we have the rant and rave later, but geez, how about all these companies that put pumpkin ale on their label and they include no actual pumpkin whatsoever?
It's like an extract or whatever, or even
or they just Or they just put spices in, and they don't even have it. It should be pumpkin spiced ale, and they leave it at pumpkin ale with spices, and it's like it needs to be pumpkin in there, even if it's just one.
Yeah, it's that kind of spicy pie. But it's kind of another one is if they're brewing these beers with real pumpkins and it's coming out in July or whenever, it's obviously going to be from the year before. So,
yep, it's going to be canned.
So, you know, that could play into whether you like a pumpkin beer or not, because it's come out from last year's batch.
Yep.
I'm just questioning how much the demand.
We're getting feedback on your end, Eric.
Yeah, a little feedback. Questioning the demand, if it's actually over demand right now. Like they're putting too much, or they're oversupplying for the demand. Like I said, some companies are trying to beat their bottom line. So first one out, like, you know, Samuel Adams gets their stuff out early. They're trying to be ahead of the next group. They're trying to be ahead of the next group. I mean, Sierra Nevada had their Oktoberfest out like 2 or 3 weeks ago, trying to set it up. And I just wonder sometimes. And like I said, people get burnt out on it, you know. So, and the problem is when people do come get it down the line, and they've been out there since July or August, they're going to be sitting on the shelves. They're going to be like, oh, I don't like this kind of beer. Why would I get this one? Now they've been sitting out there in some of these stores that we know. You're not really getting them a fair offer, and that's what I say also.
The same thing's been happening for Christmas for a long time too, right? Like when you go out to buy Christmas lights or Christmas decorations, every year it seems it's like all of a sudden August rolls around and there's Christmas decorations, or like Halloween, there's Halloween candy out in the beginning of August because, you know, 3 months later.
Well, over here with Christmas, it generally tends to be the end of the first week of September when the kids go back to school from the summer holidays, and then all the Christmas stuff. And that's when it first appears in a little bit.
And Joe, you handling the comments too, by the way?
Oh, okay.
I was just asking if you wanted to. I know you do a good job doing that.
He's really good at it. He loves doing it.
I am very, very well versed in reading to a point. We have Todd, you know, friend of the channel, friend of everyone here, usually in. He'll probably be in the after show. He says cheers. So cheers to Todd. Eric Alliance fan, another friend of the channel, says, what up?
Yeah, we'll get Eric on here because Eric's birthday's tomorrow, so he's probably getting a little.
Yeah, get on the channel sometime tonight, son.
Yeah.
We'll get him on the after show.
And then we have Hillbilly Wine 101. I love the name.
Hey, Hillbilly.
Yeah, he says, I give a thumbs down on pumpkin beers, but great chat, though.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Billy.
So turning to the next topic of the beer news item as we go through here, because we're going to try to get the whole thing going by 9:45 on the other chat. It's going to be close. We'll see what happens. Lagunitas, I would say they're rolling out, but they've actually already rolled out the first beer with cannabis. Get it? The roll out, the roll up, roll out.
Smoking.
Although if a brewery was going to do it, you would think it'd have to be Lagunitas, right? So
yes,
they came out with
or some New England IPA style brand, right? Where already tastes dang.
That's a wrap.
They came out with the Super Citrical Ale, and currently, though, it's only available in select California locations for a limited time. And we need to find out if Holly's going to try that out there. But it does not contain THC, so don't try to get high off of it. Just telling you people now. If you're out there, it's not going to do it, but you will get drunk. So if you happen to get out there in California, let us know how it tastes.
I don't know if you saw. I don't know if anybody saw. I'm not going to name his name, but you can look up his beer review channel from the state of Pennsylvania. No, it wasn't not PA Beer News. It was the other big Pennsylvania beer reviewer.
Matt,
he drank a beer.
Matt?
Yeah, he drank a beer that was made by a home brewer that sent him a beer that had actual THC in it. And he went about it where he drank the beer. And then an hour later, he updated you on the beer. And then a couple hours later, he updated you on how he felt. And he said, well, I almost didn't even want to come back to the review because I was just chilling out, watching TV, eating chips. I'm like, oh, I got to do a beer review. Wait a minute. So it must have worked, I guess.
So the THC might got him a little bit then. I'm just sitting here with Taco Bell on my lap. Oh, that's always a classic, Craig. Sierra Nevada Pale Ale.
Yeah, easily to get.
It's interesting that Lagunitas would be doing this. Said no one ever because it's obvious that they would do it, right? I will be curious to see. Did it say anything about national distribution? Did it mention that?
No, it just said California because California's got the where you can carry now out there. I guess under an ounce or something.
So I wonder how the actual sell of that in beer would be to their other distribution states that it's not legal in. I don't know if that matters.
Well, that's probably why they're just having it out there right now. But I just realized I have a couple contacts at Lagunitas.
Oh boy,
might be an email going out this week.
You also have a couple. Isn't Tanya out in California?
Yeah, Tanya can
try to hook it up
as well.
Yeah.
And then the third item, because we're just going to run through like 3 quick news items. A new report from Drizzly, if you ever see the Drizzly site out there, I guess they do reports and stuff, has shown that millennials may be buying more macro than craft beer. And the macro shown the most promise has been Mick Ultra along the millennials. So, which millennials, I guess, they're kind of broke. They're moving back home with parents now, so buying macros is not a big surprise.
You want a good macro? Try some Narragansett lager.
Well, everybody can't get Narragansett everywhere, but they can all get Mick Ultra.
Yeah, that's a pussy beer.
When you say millennials, do you mean Todd specifically? Okay, just making sure that we should.
Todd's always for millennials.
I know absolutely nothing about Michelob Ultra, and not because
Eric's a millennial.
Yes, he is. But is he a millennial?
I don't think I've ever seen Eric drink Mick Ultra though.
I'm sure he's pounded it back at some point.
I have. I don't gravitate towards that light beer. If I want a light beer, I usually gravitate towards Miller Lite if I want a light beer. But that's usually not in my wheelhouse. I do like the macros, and again, I think Narragansett is a good one. I think Miller High Life's a good one. I think Schlitz is a really good one, and maybe Pabst Blue Ribbon. That's probably about it for really cheap macros.
That's really hard to go.
Did I hear Pabst Blue Ribbon? Definitely a millennial. No, just kidding. Or would that be a hipster? Are they the same thing?
A hipster millennial.
Yeah, that's it. I still like to try it just to see what it's like, because obviously it's pretty hard to get. Funnily enough, there's a couple of the lads over this side are going to be doing on Saturday night. They're going to be doing I think it's Saturday. They're doing like a joint review thing.
Of
so that'll
what
be
beer?
live.
Of
Yeah,
Pabst?
of Pabst, yeah.
Are you saying Pabst is like a white whale in the UK? Is this what I'm hearing?
It's very scarce, yeah. I don't know where Dean got it from. Dean's beer reviews. He sent a can to Peter over in Germany.
Nice.
Dean always has the hookups though.
Yeah, he knows. He gets all the good. He gets all.
He's a bloodhound for beer.
He gets all the shit.
Yeah, and if you guys are out there, if you haven't seen Dean's channel, check him out. Dean's beer reviews.
Yes, he's good dude. Got a couple comments. Want to go to them real quick?
Fired in there, brother.
It's just Eric being a fanboy. No, I love you, Eric. He said, "Send me the link, bitches."
We're gonna
uncalled for.
We're gonna get you on the overflow here.
Yeah, on the overflow, Eric. Wait about 30 minutes until we stop talking, which will be maybe
3 hours.
No,
3 hours.
Whenever this is over, you'll definitely get a link to the next the overflow show.
And by the way, Sea Monster is pretty damn good from Ballast Point.
He says Sierra Nevada Pale Ale is really good. Then continues on with, by the way, I'm drinking a Ballast Point Sea Monster, and he finishes with, I like Mick Ultra. You would, Eric. You would.
Eric likes pretty much every beer in front of him.
Yeah, he loves the macro beers. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. Whatever. Drink what you enjoy.
Exactly. Doesn't matter. That beer can's very quiet.
Take a look here. Anybody got any beer rants or raves for this week? Anything good or bad as you've seen in the beer world?
Being the sarcastic and negative person that I am, I actually have a rave and a positive thing to say.
A positive
and that
rave.
would be positive rave. There is a lot of negativity when it comes to the craft beer community, but just craft beer drinkers. You think a lot of the stuff we talk about when you talk about news stories, and it's always someone was bought out, people are upset. Pumpkin beers being released in July and August, somebody's upset. This is happening, that's happening, pitchforks, all the whole nine, right? I would like everyone who loves craft beer to sit back and realize that right now, is like the mecca of craft beer. No matter where you live, doesn't matter if you're in the U.S., Canada, any first world country. I can't speak about, countries in which it's difficult to get, like actual essential things in life. But if you're watching this and you enjoy craft beer, it's an awesome time to be a craft beer drinker. There is so much amazing beer available, readily available, deals at every turn, Rod. At every turn, there's a lot of deals to be had. Yeah. It's just a great time to be a craft beer drinker. Whether you've been drinking craft beer for 5 years, 10 years, 30 years, doesn't matter. Everyone can tell you the difference between now and 5 years ago, 10 years ago. If you're a new craft beer drinker, someone who's gotten into it over the last couple of years, you might not realize how awesome it is, but this wasn't always the case. There wasn't always thousands of beers available and thousands of breweries to choose from. So, when the next time you're, getting up in arms over a brewery getting bought out, realize that there's thousands of other beers you can go, check out, because the revolution is real. And craft beer is amazing, and we're living in a time where it's probably the best it's ever been. I'm sure we'll hit a point where that's no longer the case and things start going awry. But over the last couple of years, it's the pinnacle right now of craft beer. Enjoy it, love it, share it, have fun with it. Don't take it too seriously. Just enjoy it.
That was such a good rave. I'll give you some rave music.
Not bad.
Okay. not sure.
That's
not
it
sure
for
this
you,
is what I was
Joe.
looking for. Yeah, not sure this is what I was looking for. Kind of nervous.
They drink this stuff in the clubs.
That was all for Joe's rave right there.
I wonder where you've been, Rod.
So
he's been raving it up.
What about you, Craig? You got a rant or rave?
Yeah, people just take it too seriously. It just kind of bugs me.
All right.
Yeah, it does, though. It's just like, it's beer. Yeah, just deal with it. Drink it, enjoy it. Don't give me all the nonsense. And the beer snobbery, we all like good beer. But there seem to be a select few people that really do kind of put other people down.
Right.
That maybe not into craft beer, they might be just starting or whatever. It's like, give them a break, If they like it, leave them alone, and it just, that kind of bugs me a little bit. And there's plenty of groups, Facebook groups in the UK where all that goes on, and there's no need for it. Because they might turn their back on decent beer because of some of these idiots, and that's not a good thing. So if they're not educated, it doesn't matter.
Right.
If they're enjoying it, that's all that matters. And then slowly but surely, if they really do like it, they'll gain the knowledge themselves without any hassle or anything. Just encourage people to drink good beer. Don't put them off. Anyway, that's that.
Definitely agree. It's a good rant. We'll give you a rant.
Bing, bing, bing. 2 thumbs up, Jody. Where's the smoke, bro?
We'll give you a guy screaming.
All right. Well, I got one for you.
So there's a rant for Craig.
Thank you. Peace and love.
Craig, Eric, rant or rave?
I guess rant.
Uh-oh.
And my rant's not going to be too long, but my rant is going to be about reviewer on YouTube, on Rate Beer and Beer Advocate, on Untapped. I would strongly recommend rating the beer, not only just how you like the beer, but rate it for what it is. If you're going to drink a beer like a Narragansett Lager or Carlsberg that I like, or even Busch Beer, something like that, and you're looking for some wild, complex flavors out of those styles of beers, and you're going to rate them low because it doesn't have a lot of flavor, I think you're doing it wrong. And you're doing the beer that's in the glass a real disservice. Hopefully it's in the glass. You're doing the beer in the glassware a disservice. So please look at the beer in the context. You might not really like Narragansett. You might not like Carlsberg. Hell, you might not even like Heineken or Stella Artois, but at least acknowledge what it is, rate it according to style if you want to do it that way. But if you don't honestly like the beer at the end of the day, then that's fine. But rate the beers for what they are and rate the beers and look at them as what they're trying to do in the marketplace. Pabst and Busch beer are certainly not cheap beers with little to no flavor for no reason. They're specifically in the market for a reason, and please treat them as such.
There you go.
Every beer, craft or macro.
Here at our corporation, we muffle your
There you
creativity.
go.
This is a rant and a rave, but
That was a rant, I believe.
that was a rant. I will just say, from a, not to get into it or anything, but I disagree in some ways. Not to say what you said was wrong, Eric, whatsoever.
You don't think it was a rant?
No, it was a rant. I said I disagree with what he said.
No, with the premise, probably, yeah.
But that's for another time, another place.
I tried to give Eric a good rant there, but it was kind of horrible to the one that I actually had. So it kind of sucked.
That's all right.
So we'll give you.
His rant was all right, but yeah.
We already had the crazy German man, so we'll give you this rant.
We need more.
We'll give you this rant.
I can hear that.
We need
So we'll boo all those people that complain like that, right?
We need more fair beer reviewers than craft snobs.
No, I agree. And to go further, what I mean when I disagree with you, I just say I don't think when it comes to reviewing to style, it's fine. But I don't think if someone is on YouTube reviewing to their own personal taste, I don't think that's wrong. I think they're well within their right to do so. Yeah. But if you don't like something, I think this is the way to look at it for me. If you like something, if you don't like something, to bash the beer and go out of your way to call it garbage or to say whatever is the wrong way of doing it. If you don't like something and maybe you don't like the style or whatever it is, make sure to express that. If you give something, let's say you're rating out of 10, you give something a 2 out of 10. Don't say you're giving it a 2 out of 10 because it's garbage. Say 2 out of 10 because you personally do not like it. Mm-hmm. So either rate to style and personal taste. But if you do it to just personal taste, make sure that you let the viewer know exactly how you feel and why you feel that way, as opposed to tearing apart a beer and just leaving it it's trash, it's garbage, when maybe you just don't like the style. It is
I'll
an
agree
issue.
with.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean that's the only thing where I say I disagree. I don't think. I've had this argument. I've been called out by Tom the Beer Whisperer for, and we've had an argument when we agreed on a certain thing where I said I don't think that everyone should review to style because there's a lot of styles out there, and you should probably be well versed in those styles. I won't get into it. Whatever, it's in the past. But
Chad,
it's one of those things where to review beers on YouTube, I don't think you need to be knowledgeable. Because a lot of beer tubers get into this, and they're
Thank God for that.
they're as green, they're as green as can be. Like they're getting into craft beer for the first time, so they don't know what they're talking about. In a lot of respects, because they are ignorant, not by choice, but just by chance. They haven't had enough beers to do it, so they don't know what's right or wrong. And at the end of the day, there is no right or wrong. Review the beer, give the people your opinion. But when you're in doubt about something, trashing a beer blindly just because you don't enjoy it isn't necessarily the right way to go about something.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, and on my end, mine is actually kind of a smaller type rant or whatever. As you know, well, most of you know, 2 weeks from now, I will actually be at the Cincy Beer Fest. So I will be pouring beers. And if you're going to run a beer festival, you'd think you should be prepared for it. But 2 weeks away from now, they still don't have the beer list up. So they're showing the beer list from 2016. Wow. They're trying to sell tickets to this beer fest. Like, you don't even know what beers are going to be there. You're going to run a beer fest, get your stuff out there in time so people know. People get energized. People get motivated by it. You're showing a lot of this stuff from last year. Yeah, we had a lot of good stuff there, but, things change each year. So I just feel like if you're going to run a beer festival, you should be better prepared than what they are actually doing right now. So,
long page.
Hope they actually, I know I could. Thanks, Craig. So hopefully they'll go ahead and actually get the stuff prepared. I know it'll probably go off without a hitch, but still, people that don't know about the beer fest, they're probably interested. You're trying to sell tickets to everything, and so you just want to get it going. But we should have around 175 beers, which would be nice. But it's just I like to see better preparation. Maybe they can get with Albino Rhino and get some notes from him on how to do it. since he's run some beer festivals. So make sure
Yeah,
you
he
check out.
hasn't ran them well. I'm kidding.
Oh, damn. Oh.
No, they were ran extremely well, and
So mine was also a little bit of a rant there.
Was
too.
that the Cindy beer list? I didn't quite see it.
It's Cindy's beer list, right?
No, hopefully it wasn't Cindy's beer list. Cindy's beer list has 0 beers on it.
We are at the 9:45 marker Eastern Standard Time right now.
Yeah, we're going to get there here in a second. So now we're going to actually turn to a new segment of the show. So as you can see in here, I don't know, can you see in there?
I see a lot of beer caps that have been hoarded.
Beer caps in there. So we're going to do beer cap.
Fresh out of the fridge.
So I'm going to reach in here and pull out a beer cap about a brewery that we will do.
I'm unprepared.
Let's see what beer cap it is. Hold on.
Yuri. Come on.
Pop a top.
Who knows that logo?
Magic Hat.
There you go. Magic Hat Brewing. And actually, that's up near your neck of the woods. Well, not even near.
Somewhere in Vermont. Yeah.
Yeah. So Magic Hat Brewing. Have you guys had a lot of Magic Hat beers?
They suck.
That's not what we're saying here.
No, I've had Magic Hat. They're just kind of. I think they try to experiment way too much, and they kind of fail at what they do, unfortunately. But it's interesting to try experimental, out there kind of beers.
I feel Magic Hat, in a lot of ways, is similar to the Saronaks of the world and beers like that, where if you're going to buy some of their beers and you're getting into craft beer for the first time, they're not necessarily the worst choice because you can get a lot of cheap mixed packs and the price points where it's at, maybe not as great as Rod's deals or anything, but for the average beer consumer, they're fantastic. But as far as like quality, they're on the lower end of things. And if you go into their beers understanding that you're not going to, get the next latest and greatest thing, you should be able to enjoy them. But yeah, I've never been overly impressed with them. They also sued, 6 West Brewing Company because Magic Hat 9 had the 9 logo, and then 6 West turned it upside down basically and had a 6, and they were like, no, I don't care if it's a 6. It's our 9 flipped upside down. We're going to sue you.
Oh yeah, West 6
guys. Yeah, West 6, not 6 West. It's just a little bit messed up. But what it comes down to is that they're okay, but there's so many breweries that are exactly like them in this country.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Amen.
So you think that you consider them more to be a
entry
lower
level
end of the craft breweries?
Yeah. That number 9. Yeah. Entry level.
Like if you're looking
number
for
9 is like one of 1,001 beers you must taste for you.
I disagree with that statement.
1,001 beers you pour directly down your drain. I'm just kidding. It's
you guys are killing my opportunities, by the way.
I love that, Joe. Yes.
Oopsie. That's odd.
I had that beer for the first time. I think I had it for the first time at a Cinema Deluxe movie theater at Showcase, and it was really good on tap. And then a 6-pack of it. I'm like, this is gross. What the hell happened between the tap and the bottles? I don't know.
I don't think they're. I mean, I've had some that are definitely at the lower end of what they are. They're a hit and miss brewery for me. So, like, I've got a couple of the Circus Boys in their fridge. They got like the American version, overseas version. But like the Electric Peel, I thought wasn't too bad. Number 9 is one of those time dated ones now at this point. But you look at their lineup, they do try to mix it up. I got the Mother Lager down here as well. I got that downstairs.
Nice looking artwork.
Yeah, they got great artwork on their stuff.
I want to reiterate, Rod, definitely for the entry level beer tubers.
Well, there's entry level out there.
I was just saying you had it in your fridge.
But I think it's a variety. Like some breweries just aren't going to be on point all the time. Mm-hmm. So, well,
they are very. I don't want to say innovative is the wrong word to look at it, but they do.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, they like to pump out a lot of different styles. I mean, they're almost akin to Sam Adams, who seemingly releases somewhere around 1.7 million different beers every year. But the quality is a little bit worse than Sam Adams. And you talk to a lot of people, they don't think Sam Adams is all that great. So I feel like they're like the budget craft beer, basically. Them, Saranac.
If you want if you want a really good craft brewery beer out of Vermont that a lot of people can get, you can't go wrong with Long Trail.
The Long Trail side, we didn't
Not
pull the
at all.
Long Trail cap. We pulled Magic Hat.
Yeah, it's,
I know Magic Hat's awful.
Maybe next week we'll pull Long Trail. Who knows?
let's hope not.
Narragansett, baby.
No.
Let's hope not. Let's.
Well,
let's
if you
please
had
hope
him
not.
out there, let us know what you think. You know, except Paul. Paul's already kind of ranted on him on the chat board.
Yeah, we'll
but-
read comments in a second if you want to listen to Paul from PA Brew Review, PC Reviews, Builds News.
We're at
PA
Paul on the
Brew
after
Reviews.
hours. Paul will probably be on the after hour show. So,
Unfortunately.
but yeah, so that's Mad Hat there to Vermont. Take them or leave them, I guess, is the way we could kind of say on that.
I'll
And
leave him. I
then-
can't get him.
Well, you can't get them, yes.
Craig
Good,
has
you don't want
absolutely
that.
no opinion on the Magic Hat.
You're stuck drinking your brew dog. And
Their
then
labels look pretty.
any final
I'll stick to my Magic Rock. Yeah.
Yeah. Final beer talk. They got this beer, Magic Hat. It's called the number 9, not quite pale ale. Yeah, it's not quite pale ale because it's an apricot beer. Gross.
Yeah.
End of story.
That's not a good final beer thought.
No. It's brewed with apricot essence. It's the essence of an apricot, not actually.
We're not here to kick the breweries, you know.
Please.
Well, how about I do a quick?
I mean, unless you're Dan and you're talking about Minhas, that's the only brewery that gets kicked around here.
Yeah, we'll do a quick reading of the comments and then move on to final beer thoughts and call
All
it a
right.
day. Sound good?
Yeah.
Go on. All right. Eric Lyons fan after he said he likes Mick Ultra, he said, "Can't forget Mickey's, Joe. How can I?" I do enjoy Mickey's though. As far as malt liquor, I don't know about anyone else here. Mickey's, I do enjoy them. Grenades,
Mickey's Big Mouth.
Yeah, it's solid. Dan from Booze Reviews CA, who also is very lucky in NHL 17, says, "I hate Minhas. Does that count?" Actually, it doesn't because
Yes.
everyone hates Minhas.
Oh,
Pretty sure everybody does. Almost everybody.
Everybody I pretty much know seems to hate it.
Yeah, they're one of the universally panned breweries from my recollection. He also continues with, "I will never treat Minhas with any respect." I don't expect
Dan
you
is
to.
basically out there firing a bunch of shots at them, just like taking his pot shots one by one, then loading up on them. He just hates Minhas.
He does.
Yeah, he
They
does.
have a brewery in Alberta, and they get a lot of not great beer up there. PA Bruno says, "Easy there, Buckaroo." Okay, Paul. Dan replies with LOL. Eric says, "The cool kids are in the chat, Paul." I think he's
Yeah, they
referring to
are.
himself, Dan, and Paul, and I have never disagreed so much with someone's opinion in the chat as I do right now. He also says, and then Paul continues, "I just disagree with all of you, even the ones I agree with." Him and Eric have a magical moment where they say, "Yo, Eric," and then Eric responds with, "Yo, PA."
Oh, they're
Paul
bonded.
Yeah, they're bond.
Yo,
No, they've
PA.
they've
Northern
met in
number.
real life, so they're best of friends.
We're buddies.
Now hold on. Hold on.
Hold on. Now I'm going to moderate. And he says, Paul also continues 93 garbage. That is inside joke of another beer tuber who once reviewed KBS and gave it a 93 and instantly called it garbage. So a 93 out of 100 for you guys doing math out there is a garbage beer. To continue on, Dan says, "LOL, that sounds like Paul." Paul responds with, "Yup." And then Dan has a conversation with him. And then Eric says, "LOL, I am so freaking green," to Joe's point when I mentioned if you're green in beer tubing sense and you come in, you don't know a lot. He's basically
What does any of this mean? What the hell? What?
I have no idea. Dan continues with, "I revisited a
You
beer
know, Eric's
recently."
drunk. He's on his birthday eve, so he's drunk already.
Yeah, he's probably
Okay.
Probably on
gotcha.
that Mick Ultra. Dan says, I revisited a beer recently with my old co-host because we trashed a beer. The question I would pose to Dan for that is, did you trash a beer because you guys absolutely hated it, didn't think it was well made, combination of both, or were you hammered? I'd probably go with the latter because that's how guys in Canada rock it. Paul says, "You don't need to be knowledgeable or even good at it. Look at all of us. We suck like
God.
a Hoover. At least we don't suck as much as the Lions do." And Eric responds with, "Fuck off,
Oh,
Paul. LOL." He also says, Paul continues with, I don't even know why I'm giving Paul the time of day. This is embarrassing. He says, preparation is too adult, man. Eric Alliance fan posts emoji that I will not translate. And then Paul says, ran like a detrailed rain. They do suck, in reference to Magic Hat. And then Eric says, like you do, Paul. And then Paul says, 69, a rotten pink elephant. Yup.
Little lover's spat there.
Yeah. And then he says, oh, Joe is trying to be professional. What a joke. Nothing I ever do is professional, Paul. I don't know what you're referencing to, but at the same time, he says, nope. They suck, and breweries like them suck in response to Magic Hat. Quality is not a priority with them. You can go wrong with Long Trail. That is like saying Saranac is where it's at with craft. I can't, sorry. He says he hopes to be on around 12:30. Hopefully, we're long done by then.
Yeah,
I don't think that.
Well, if you were reading all Paul's comments, probably you'd wrap up by now, right?
Joe didn't say that Saranac was the greatest thing. He never did.
No, it's an entry level. Like it's if you're getting into it, it's the price point and the amount of styles they make is not bad to check them out. He also continues, Minhas is like cancer. When people get it, no one likes it. It's one way to put it. And then, and then Eric responds with, "It's Miller Lite, Joe. LOL." Yeah.
Or Coors Light, or Coors Banquet.
Yeah.
Are you going like Eric yelling at people? Is that what?
Yeah. Yeah. If you drive drunk, I'm gonna come to your house and fucking spear you through your house. Your drywall's done. All right, and then Paul finishes with, "Way to go, Joe."
Whoa.
Oh, thank you, Paul.
Oh.
All right, we're done, aren't we?
At least this is all the comments I'm ever going to read on the rest of this chat.
Any other final beer thoughts before I give you mine and we sign off here?
Keep tasting those great beers. Cheers. We'll see you in the next video.
I have one final thought. It is a news article. I don't know why I didn't add it to the end of the original news articles, but because I'm slightly Polish, a little slow, it happens. No big deal. But it's a pretty big news story for those people who are like well ingrained into craft beer and love the hyped beers. But Trillium Brewing Company.
Wow.
I was going to mention this as well.
Aaron's favorites.
They have lost their head brewer to Six Point Brewery out of the Bronx, New York. They actually hired the head brewer away. Head brewer, his name is, I think it's Eric Bachley or Bockley. I don't know how to pronounce it exactly because, again, can't read. I struggle. And they basically have hired him to help with their new development team that they like to say is going to take them to, the innovation, research, and development.
Right.
And it says the 6 Point team is going to stick with their year-round formulations, but they're going to have new limited beers, small batch.
Fuck that.
And all that stuff. Here's the thing.
No.
Here's the thing. When we talk about different buyouts and whatnot, I am curious, and I say this tongue-in-cheek, but not really, how many people within like the next 6 months will talk about Trillium's quality and everything because they lost their head brewer, batch variation. It's going to be similar to a buyout where they lost their head brewer, and a lot of Trillium lovers are going to be of the opinion that the quality has went down or whatever. You're going to see it happen.
Yeah, but like 80% of the country can't get Trillium, so it's like
that's true.
Here's my.
They're hyped enough where you'll see people complaining about it just because of the fact that they lost their head brewer. I guess their opinion would probably be that the assistant brewers have learned nothing the entire time, or there's people that can't replace them. But one last thing. One last thing I say is 6 Point gets distribution to my area, and if they do release some limited stuff, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do.
Yeah, well, here's my quick little opinion on that. Since I'm within
Massachusetts.
I'm 25 minutes outside of where Trillium is in Canton, Massachusetts. But my opinion on this whole thing is going to be, just because you hired the head brewmaster that used to be over at Trillium doesn't instantly mean that you're a IPA mecca of a brewery now, all of a sudden, that you can just put out these limited release beers and they're just going to be phenomenal. That doesn't mean jack squat. How you make a really good brewery is you surround yourself with the correct team that's going to help you brew these world-class beers. And unless they have the same vision and the same drive and the same kind of a brewing technique and a process that this individual has, they're not going to get it done right. And I don't think that on the other side of the coin, Trillium losing this head brewmaster is going to make things, fall awry, or, it's going to make the quality bad. They've been doing it for a while. People respect what they do. I think they have, again, their own good team that's going to make it right. Maybe potentially there could be a little bit more freedom in what they do. And there might be different and more innovative things that they could possibly do. I don't know, but I don't think that Trillium's done being Trillium. And I don't think 6 Point immediately becomes the next New England IPA branded of beers.
All right. All right.
That's just me.
I'm gonna go on a wrap.
I've got a couple. I've got a
Greg,
couple of things. I've got a couple of things. I think Trillium should delay it and not tell anyone for a year, so all the haters can have all their comments.
I agree.
And then we'll actually do one. He's not left yet. You know what people are like.
Yeah.
So that's that one. I'm Kent Beer Reviews. To Joe's channel when it becomes available. I think that'd be a great thing to do, and that's me done. Thank you.
I feel like Greg's a little drunk and throwing them back too often here tonight.
That was pretty good there. So my last thing here for final beer thoughts is, let me share my screen here correctly.
Look at this professional. Let me share my screen.
Let's see here.
Oh,
Gotta get up there. Present to everyone. Oh shit!
What was that?
I hate
That's so professional, Rod. What happened?
It's not me. It's Google. It's Google's pieces of junk.
I don't know. Yeah, it is a little bit sometimes.
Let's see.
That's
Just
he's had that one lined up for a while.
I'm gonna just give a little shout out here to. Is my screen moving on your screen?
Yep, it's moving.
Yeah. So, New Jersey's oldest resident dies. Agnes Fenton, that lived to be 112 years old. She died today. She credited her longevity to beer and scotch.
Drinking.
So,
sweet.
Make sure you keep up and enjoy your beers, no matter what Cindy Ben says. Here's someone that lived to 112 years old. Credited her long life with 3 Miller High Life beers and a nip of Johnny Walker Blue every day.
A nip of Johnny Walker Blue is expensive a day.
which is a great segue. The Rod J Beer Flow Show is brought to you by Miller High Life and Johnny Walker Blue.
And Narragansett. Lager.
So just to say, hey, there's good stuff being found out about alcohol all the time. Not saying you should go binge. Anything in moderation is always good. Eric's not here on this part. Just don't drink and drive. And enjoy life. That all being said, thanks for swinging by for the Beer Flow Show. We're going to go to the overtime. So we'll post that back up here in about a minute or two, and you'll probably see another crazy cast of people, including the birthday boy, Eric, a Lions fan. Thanks to everybody here tonight. Average Joe, the man without a channel, but is working on it right now. Greg from Ken Beer Reviews. Make sure you check out his channel. And, of course, Eric from Thomas Meadow 75, Massachusetts Beer Reviews. Make sure you check out his channel. I'll get their
links. Keep tasting those great beers. Keep tasting those great beers. Cheers. We'll see you soon. There you go.
He loves getting his tagline, and he always wants his tagline in there.
Also, thanks to Todd, Hillbilly Wine 101, Eric, and Paul for their comments.
Yes. Make sure you check out PA Beer. I'm going last
Brew Reviews.
And make sure you check out Eric, a Lions fan. And make sure Todd's another one working on the channel right now, so maybe one day we'll get him going. And make sure you check out Hillbilly Wine 101, who actually does a lot of different things with wine. Great channel to check out as well. That all being said, we'll see you back in, like Chuck Woolery used to say, 2 and 2. And with that being said, cheers.
We have hit rock bottom. Chuck Woolery was referenced.